Hey friend, how's it going? It's
It's
Thrive O'clock.
it is 5 o'clock, and it's how I know it's Friday. So it's good. How are you?
It's Thrive O'clock somewhere. I'm doing really good. Actually, thank you for asking. Can I tell you a little celebration that I have?
You can.
Um, I have I have not been to the gym for like since the pandemic, and this week I decided that I would go back, but I would choose to do something that wasn't super threatening to me. Like getting on the treadmill really seemed like, and wearing a mask and all of that things.
Mhm.
I was like, it just seemed intimidating. But I'm like, I got to do something because I'm not walking in my neighborhood. Also, walking up the hills in my neighborhood seemed intimidating. But I thought I can swim. I've always been a swimmer,
Mhm.
although it's been a while. So I got into the pool 3 times this week, 3 times. And I might go if my husband decides not to take me on a hot date tonight. I might also go to the pool tonight. And I feel it. So I feel that I've been working out, but I don't feel horrible. Like I can't get up in the morning and I
Mhm.
never want to do it again, which is a win for me. So I just want to celebrate that. Thank you for asking. How about you?
I'm good. It's been busy week, but I got to catch up with. And I'm probably frozen. I don't know.
No,
Can you at
you're
least
not.
still
You're
hear
good.
me? Okay, because
I
it's
can hear
I
you.
got I got the beach ball. I get so tired of that beach ball on my screen. But I got to catch up with two of my students from they graduated high school from 2 years ago that we did a lot of the tech conferences and things together, and they co-wrote a chapter in one book, and then the one wrote a chapter of her own in one of my books, and then she wrote her own chapter in Mandy's book reignite the
Oh,
flames about like mental health and wellness. And so it's crazy because I had not seen them since August when they were leaving for their freshman year. And it's just, I mean, how much
oh.
time has passed, and they're kind of like my kids. So I got to meet up with them today and hear what they're doing and just enjoy the conversation and see the growth in them since I've known them since they were in seventh grade. So it was good. It was fun to see
Yes.
them and spend some time talking and hear what their plans are and just amazed by what they're doing. I mean, just their coursework they're taking, like engineering, and the other student is majoring and looking at like data analytics and cybersecurity and computer science, which I was all about because I just wrote a blog yesterday that'll be out in a couple of weeks about like computer science and how
Ooh.
much it's needed in our schools. And so it was fun. It was good to see them. So highlight
It
of the
was fun to talk
day.
about computer science.
It
Yes, yes.
was. It was.
I want to say thank you, Doreen, for watching, and Aaron. It's so nice to see you. Yes, happy Friday. It's good to
Right
see
back at
you
you.
as well. Well, I love that you did that. And if you are interested in any of Rochelle's books that include a lot of student voice, you can go to bit.ly/Poth Books. It's right there on the screen. I know you weren't wanting me to do that, but I just want to put
It's
that in there
okay.
because I think your books are pretty amazing. So it's kind of cool that you're talking about computer science and students because our guest today, Rebecca L. Cooney, not to be
Mhm.
mistaken for Rebecca with any other middle initial, because there are a few. I've looked her up. I wondered why the
Yeah.
L was important. It is important. Okay. Um, but she does a lot in that area too. Would you like to introduce her and I'll bring her up?
Yeah, it's I'm always amazed at just how many people we get to connect with, and some of whom we've never had a chance to meet in person or even like have a conversation like this, right? But I have known Rebecca for a while. I host the formative chat on Monday nights, and I always ask for guest moderators, and she has guest moderated a few times and joins in and just always has so much to offer and resources to share. So it's always great to learn from her, and she has so so many accolades and just I can't even like the list is long. And so I am looking forward. It's nice to actually see and talk together. So I'm glad that you joined us today and can't wait to hear about the work that you're doing and on a Friday.
On a
And
Friday.
before you say a word, I just want to say that it is totally rad and a high five for being the recipient of the 2021 President's Distinguished Teaching Award for Career Track Faculty. That's
Yay.
amazing.
Yay.
Congratulations.
Thank
Yes,
you.
so
Yes,
rad.
that
But
is
tell us all
awesome.
about
Thank
you.
you. Tell us about me. Well, so I'm a California girl, born and raised. I'm the youngest of 5 kids. Uh, And my background is in strategic communication primarily. So I'm about 26 years in the field, which is crazy. I've been teaching about 11 years. Prior to that, director of marketing, director of business development, director of university relations, all those types of roles, a lot of time spent in higher ed, and a little bit in corporate, a little bit in higher education travel as well. But I am mostly, I'm an educator, and I'm a specialist in virtual teaching, online education. But I'm also the director of Murrow online programs. So I've been overseeing our online BA, MA, and graduate certificates for some time. I teach a 4-4. Anyone in higher ed knows what I'm talking about. And so I have a pretty full load of in-person and online teaching. And then I also do I'm a research associate on a grant, which is like this other random thing that it's an NIH funded grant for natural product and drug interaction research. And I get to play a really fun role in web development and analytics and communication strategy. And there's also a consulting on the side. So it's just this, I have so many hats and so many titles, but I'm a little bit hungry for knowledge and fun and different experiences. So that's what I do.
Yeah. I love it. It sounds so exciting. Oops. The wrong
Doesn't
one.
always feel that exciting.
Yes, and I dropped so if you want to check out Rebecca's website, her professional website, I just dropped that in the comments. And so and before we came on live, there's like a special connection. And Rachelle said it a little bit in the introduction, but I was so excited to know more about you said that your career, or just the things that you were doing, just took off in the pandemic, which we don't hear a lot of. And I just, the power of connection and your formative chat and your blogging, I would love to hear more about that.
Sure. So what happened is in March of 2020, we found out that we're going to be 100% online. So we were all in person, and all of the faculty had to just scramble like everyone else, K-12, higher ed. We all were, we're all in this together, right? So we had to scramble and we had to go online. So I came home, and I have 4 kiddos. Okay, so 4 kids, 2 in high school, 1 in college, and another one that was just graduated from college. Actually, he graduated in the pandemic. So he graduated in June of 2020. And we all were at the house, and it was just chaos. And I just woke up one day and said, I'm going to start writing about this experience and what it's like to transition from in-person to online. And I started writing, and that's where the blog, I started an online teaching tips. It's not even like a creative title, but an online teaching tips blog. And through that, I was writing about my experiences. I was writing about the experiences of the students and how they were having to adjust, especially when all of the internships got cut off. Everybody lost their internships. How we were, as faculty, transitioning our in-person classes to the online environment. And from that, I started to do some training. Syracuse asked me to come on and train their faculty. I started to make connections through Twitter and the EDU and EdTech, the hashtag EDU, hashtag EdTech community. I latched on to some of the work that Rachelle has been doing in the formative chat and started participating in the live Twitter chats. Got invited to a couple of podcast appearances. I volunteered for some things like Rachelle's formative chat. And just every opportunity that came up that was really fascinating and really interested to me in the online education space and distance learning and converting in-person to online, I latched on. And I just, the lean in concept, I leaned in, and I have not stopped. And it blew up, and it's been so much fun. I felt like I found a niche.
Yeah.
Maybe a time that it's hard to find a niche, but I did. And I've really enjoyed it, and I keep doing it.
Yeah. And,
okay.
Oh, sorry. Go, Mel.
No, you go.
No, you go.
No, because I always cut you off. You go. I mean it. I'm bossing you right now. You go.
Oh my gosh. No, I was gonna just say that it's that's one of the reasons too why there's 2 things that I encourage people to do. One, I'm always looking for people to guest moderate the chat on Monday nights, especially for somebody who's thought about getting into Twitter chats or guest moderating Twitter chats and doesn't necessarily, know which one to start with, like formative, because it's a 30-minute 3-question. I just always think it's the perfect one to dive into. It's a kickoff on a Monday night. And there's so many people to join in. So that's one of the two things. And the other thing too is like I have my own blog site, but I'm always looking for guest blogs and people who've been thinking about writing. And I was one of them that said, blogging sounds cool, but like, what do I write about? Who would read it? And diving in, and the idea behind maybe starting your own if you don't have time for that. But I always encourage people like, hey, if you want to post a guest blog on my site, but I've seen so many times where it's like, once you do that first Twitter chat, then you connect with the people in that. And then you're sharing obviously lots of resources, but your blog or your podcast or your work, and then people know you and refer to you, and then you continue to build your network and bring other people in. And so, I mean, the world is so big, but sometimes it's so small because of how we know each other. We pop up in all these different chats. So anybody who is not yet on Twitter, who has not yet joined Informative Chat, please do, because it's a great
It is incredibly
place to
intimidating. And I always acknowledge that with my peers who say, well, what should I do? LinkedIn articles? Should I start a blog? Should I be on Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram? And there's so many different options. And I always say, well, just take a beat. You don't have to be all things to all people.
Right.
And I like the idea. Guest blogging is a great place to start. I would say pick 2 social channels that you're comfortable with, that you like. I chose Twitter in large part because that's where the community seems to be. It's that, and there's also a Facebook group. There's a couple of really wonderful. There's an online education Facebook group that blew up. That's amazing. And Instagram. That's where that's where my students are. So I do a little bit there. But what I really found is that if you have to start somewhere, take a little bit of a risk. It's a little scary, but if you have something to say and you have an expertise that is going to be useful to a larger network, start sharing. Just pay attention to your hashtags and pay attention to your ad tags so that you're reaching people. Right. Because if you're too insular, you're not going to hit the right, mix of folks. And once you feel a little bit more confident, then things like, when I saw the formative chat, I think, Rachelle, you just posted that you were looking for moderators. And I thought, why not? Right? Let's try this. And I loved it. And I didn't know, that was my first experience with it. I didn't have a training manual next to me telling me how to do it. And I ended up using things like the Twitter scheduler. Why am I blanking on it? Help me out. So Twitter.
Tweet.
Yeah, the scheduler, the tweet, or TweetDeck and
TweetDeck. And I used Canva to create my artwork. And I know you use Bunsy, right, Rachelle? You've talked about that before. But I Canva to use the artwork, and you schedule everything out on TweetDeck, fill in with your contribution, get it all going. And it's a whirlwind, and it's incredible, and it's very invigorating and really fun to connect with people.
How do you spell recommend?
RECOMMEND.
Okay, I always get confused if there's 2 C's or 2 M's. Okay, I love that you said. You're right, Rebecca, and I thank you for telling me that. I love that you said that because we are all creating all the time. I am also a creator, and I'm very inspired by Rachelle, honestly. But I would love to ask anybody who's watching, what creation tool do you use or recommend? And I'm with you on Canva, and Bunsy is amazing, and so many of my friends. Yes.
Free web-based tool. And both Canva and Adobe Spark have apps for Android and iOS, and so you can, I have been in any number of settings, but just creating content just right there on my phone, creating it on my desktop. But it really makes a difference, and it really helps. And things like TweetDeck, that's a free tool. Yeah. So are Twitter Analytics if you want to check out how you're performing. There's a lot of free tools. Yeah. And I don't know, Rachelle, you could speak more to Bunsy. I'm not as familiar.
Oh yeah. Well, one thing I'll say about TweetDeck, I have not had any luck with it lately. And I don't know if it's because I have 20 different columns, but it's slow, it lags, it won't work. And so for some of the for the last 3 weeks, for some of the chats where I've been a moderator, it's like I can't stand just using the regular single page, because the way that I set it up, I usually have the main, but then I'll do like answer one so I can see and make sure that I'm
Oh.
interacting. But it just has not worked, and I have not been able to add gifts.
So I don't post. I only schedule in TweetDeck, and I let it, and then I go away. I walk away. So I schedule in TweetDeck, and I've got it, all the timings according to the formative chat timings, and then I walk away from that, and then I'm hanging out in Twitter, and then I'm operating live. As far as my engagement with others or my, more spontaneous contribution, I'm doing that in the live, in the app. But so TweetDeck is only there to pop in the scheduling.
Yeah, that's what I do too.
I used to use TweetDeck to stay active in the Twitter chats because it just was easier to control, but it doesn't do that for me anymore. The only thing good for TweetDeck is to schedule, but now you can just be right on your app, or I guess not really from your phone, but you can schedule tweets when you're, you don't even have to go to TweetDeck anymore. There's a schedule right there when you're in Twitter.
I didn't even use that one.
That's what I do.
It's easier to do.
A scheduler in Canva, and people are abandoning some of the other tools, the more expensive tools. And I don't, Hootsuite, Sprout Social, who I also, am an advocate for, but Canva's now operating with a scheduler.
It is.
Huge. Yeah.
I never used Canva for that. I mean, I've seen it, but I use Buffer, and I do pay for that, but that's kind of like my side hustle. So I have to. But I love what you're talking about. And I love that we can have like some conversations about this. And if you're watching what Rebecca talked about, like, starting with the social media outlets that you feel comfortable with, I would also like to know, maybe we can talk about this weekend, kind of like in a slower chat form, but what social media are you most comfortable using? I would love to know that from anybody watching.
Twitter for me was a no-brainer because my faculty, my administration, that's where they are. And also Global Campus, the people that I'm trying to reach, especially early on when the pandemic started, I'm trying to reach these folks to not speak for others, but to add value to the conversation, right? And so I'm just giving my perspective on what it is to be on the side of the educator or the side of the parent or the side of, the professional development person trying to help people out, Twitter happens to be that's where they are. So that's where I'm going to be. And yes, I had to learn how to be comfortable in that platform.
Yeah.
Where TikTok, oh gosh.
No, I don't use
so
TikTok.
Much.
I hear you on that. And I think it's great that you are saying that you had to learn Twitter. Twitter was a very natural sort of learning tool for me, but like Rachelle does Clubhouse, and Clubhouse to me is like, I don't know.
I just haven't played in it yet. Yeah.
Yeah.
But she loves it.
I haven't been on it as much lately, just because with everything has just been so busy on all fronts between the teaching and the consulting. And so I stopped. I haven't done, I was doing Saturday and Sunday afternoons and then a Monday night one. But then there are some that I do every week. Like on Wednesday, there's a group of us, Women in Ed Leadership. And we have one every Wednesday. It's at 5 Eastern. And then we are doing it at Camp Clubhouse. There's a couple other ones, like Monica Burns is doing one. She does them every Monday at 5 Eastern, but I'm doing one with her on June 7th about artificial intelligence. So those ones I definitely enjoy. I've been listening more than I've actually been leading the discussions.
Well, sometimes you have to, you have to take a step back and start to listen instead of to be the one speaking,
Yeah. And there's it's interesting. I'm going to type this one in the chat too, but there's another one that there are a lot of spaces that are out there now. And I love the fact that there are the audio ones where you don't have to feel it's nice to see each other on the screen or to have the messaging that you can use, but Clubhouse has that where it's, you can just sit, you can listen, you can go for a walk. If you have an iPhone, I was using my iPad, and to go walk in the neighborhood carrying an iPad is a little awkward. So I didn't do that. But now apparently it's available for Android users. But I have been using Skilled Space, which is through Swivel, and it's free, and you create a space, you set up a profile, and you might have different tools that you're familiar with, or you would speak to if somebody had questions. You can put hashtags that you're associated with. So if you're big on talking about SEL, for example, and then you can schedule either a private or public space. And so if anybody goes there, they can see which conversations are happening, similar to Clubhouse. But I just had one on Tuesday night at 8, and we were talking about learning and relaxing over the summer. So people just join in and I lead the conversation a little bit, but it's just really for people to join in. And so we had Mel, who always joins us from Colombia, join in, and had Dr. Harvey one time, and just a different space, similar to like Twitter now is having those spaces. And hey, speaking of spaces, nice little segue there for anybody who hasn't checked out Spaces EDU. They are doing a 21 for 21 event. It's 21 educators that they interview to find out, that they ask them a lot of different questions, but then they're focusing on like one idea. So you can go to their 21 for 21 and vote for all 21 multiple times a day, every day, and then you're entered to win some fabulous prizes. So I will just say that a couple people that voted for me did in fact end up winning. I did not have anything to do with that. So just throwing that out there. But anyway, so
the other tool that Formative Chat and Kim Matina from the Sweet Talk, she introduced me to Wakelet, which I had not used prior to this as well. And that was really fun to be able to sort of capture all of the conversations that happened through the chat, like what we're doing even here, and to throw that into a Wakelet and have it as a single space to house all of those conversations. I really like Wakelet too.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yeah. And before we get to the fun part, we talked about this a little bit before we went live, but so you're in the higher ed, and both Rachelle and I'm elementary, I think, I know, but I'm just saying I kind of represent an elementary voice. And, Rachelle's kind of in the secondary, but you're in higher ed. So how do all these social medias and all these platforms and just like we talked about LMS, how does that translate from higher ed to K-12 or vice versa?
So hugely. So when students enter my classes, I typically get them I mostly have juniors, seniors, right? But I get some sophomores as well. And one of the first things that I've got them doing is Google Drive, because they're going to do collaborative work. And yes, we have Teams, and yes, we have Microsoft 365. We've got other tools, but I'm a total Google Drive devotee. It's my home. I love the tools. I use Google Sites. I use Google Slides. I use Google Docs. I use Google Sheets. All of them. And now my students, they come in and they just know immediately that's the expectation. And because they learn it, so many of them do in that K-12, it's seamless. They come in, they sit down, they're ready to go. Canvas, same thing. The use of the LMS tool has been really instrumental. And even tools like Adobe, those that are able to get it, in some of the K-12 education. But what I'm seeing is this really lovely transition from of the students from the K-12, into higher ed. But it's not just that. I'm also finding out there's just a little bit of a gap. The community, the ed tech community for higher ed, it's like teeny. So you see Google for Classroom. You've got Adobe Apple Education Coaching. You've got all these things. Everything's K-12, which is awesome. But there's not a lot in higher ed. And so what I've started to work through is figuring out how all of these resources and tools, techniques, methodology that's being discussed in the K-12, how does it translate into higher ed and vice versa? And I don't see a lot of differences. I just more see opportunity. So that some of the narrative can shift from just the K-12 into how can higher ed and how can faculty in higher ed be utilizing these tools and utilizing these methodologies so much more effectively to create a more engaged and innovative and interactive classroom. And instead of this lecture, how can we be more engaging, more interesting, more active learning? And so much of what I've learned from just being connected in the EdTech K-12 group has transferred just seamlessly into my curriculum. And it's been really, really
I
fun.
love that. And no wonder you're the recipient of the 2021 President's Distinguished Teaching Award for Career.
Right.
That's amazing. You are making my elementary teaching heart so happy to hear that. I think it's great.
So fun.
Yeah, yes.
There's good things. Coloring. Go back to tactile. Post-it notes and coloring. I do all of that stuff. I have a whole thing of Corolla, in my classrooms for it. But also I've been doing it with like Google Jamboard and Padlet and Loom and Flipgrid, all of these high used K-12 tools into my higher ed, and the students respond really favorably. They love it.
That
You
is
just
so
elevate
amazing.
it.
Well,
You mature it, right? You just
Yeah.
it's a
yes.
little bit more level. They love
Do you
it.
write about that in your professor as
I
student
have written
blogging?
quite
Is
a bit
that a
about
part of
it. One of the
Okay,
things
I'm
that
gonna
I haven't been able to do as much of, I've been really heavy on Twitter, and pretty active on LinkedIn and Facebook, a little bit on Instagram, but the time to write, I mean, I'm sure you could both relate as bloggers. It takes about 4 hours to write a
yes.
decent piece, and then to push it
Two
out.
yeah.
So it's been a little challenging to find that time in the in the pandemic. You think you have more time,
Yes.
not so much.
Unless you're
Yeah.
getting paid for it. And I
Oh,
kind of
well,
am. So that
that
gets me
would
going.
incentivize. Yeah, that would help.
It
Yeah.
does. And I want to drop a little caveat because tomorrow Rachelle is going to be with Tim Cavey on Teachers on Fire about blogging, and I love blogging, and he's really kind of pushed me into like I still need to take care of my personal blog before they go on tomorrow, just in case they want to bring up my blog. I don't know. I'm just saying. So that's I like what you're talking about. And blogging is really important. And I look at people's blogs all the time. I'm reading.
Mhm.
I am constantly reading people's blogs. I prefer that over I prefer that actually over lives and
you
everything.
got to have
I will
good
sit
SEO.
and read.
You got to optimize those blog posts. Make
yes.
sure you got your titles, your descriptions, your alt tags, so that people can find your stuff. You got to optimize.
It's true. It really is true. I love that you said that because it's right
and
on.
Paying attention to hashtags. Don't make up your own.
Yeah, that too.
Unless you're on Instagram,
yeah,
you can do whatever you want.
This is true.
And I read a blog the other day too, and it was from Ilana Leone. Can you still hear me?
Yeah.
Okay,
I can.
because it's
actually, you look very cute. You have a little pause.
Oh, have I been paused the whole time? Because my screen has had the beach ball the whole time. But
just a second, you're fine.
There was a blog by Ilana Leone the other day, and it was talking about like Twitter hashtags and how to write, and don't make up your own, and don't write where it's just like there's so many hashtags like mixed into your initial text, because in terms of accessibility too, that's really hard to read and to figure out like how best to balance it, usually choosing only like 3 or 4 hashtags. So but yeah, sometimes there's just like hashtags galore, but anyway.
And there are best practices.
Yes.
Yeah.
There are Sprout Social, great articles.
Yes. I was meeting with my friend Alice Keeler, whom I also do a lot of collaboration and work with. And we were just talking about that this morning she's like, just use 3 hashtags and like, don't use any more than that. But I think that's great advice. And we could talk about this stuff all day, but it's Thrive O'Clock and I don't want to talk only business. I want to get to the would you rather, because this is my favorite part. And this is where we really get to know Rebecca. So are we ready to get a little bit crazy?
Let's get crazy.
We may or may not be, because I don't even know if I can get to the questions, because it's just been like, I haven't even been able to see your faces for like 5 minutes. So I'm just imagining that you're there, but that's okay. So, all right, here we go. And some of these are maybe ones that Mel has answered before, but I don't know. Okay. Question number 1, totally random. Would you rather work? Oh, no, I'm not going to ask that one. I'll start with something nice.
Yes!
Would you rather?
It gets bad. No, don't do that.
No, because I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings when it comes to family members. I didn't see the end part of it. So would you rather cuddle
Those are the best.
No. Would you rather cuddle a koala or pal around with a panda?
Yes, I do have a favorite child.
I go with koala because I like a hug. I like a hugger.
Yeah, I'm going with koala.
I like the koala. Yeah.
Wait, was it between a koala and a panda?
Worlds. You can carry it around.
Right. Yeah, I'm not carrying no panda.
I'm not carrying a panda. That's a big boy.
Yeah, the pandas are not very like nice.
Yeah. Although
I think the koalas are nicer.
I'm pretty sure they can do somersaults, which is cool. And the panda could maybe carry us around.
Right. Yeah.
No.
Could you ride a
panda would probably kill us.
Maybe?
I know.
The panda would kill us.
Yeah.
I look like a koala. Like I could see a koala on my face.
Oh my
gosh, that is so weird. I've never yes. And Ryan, thank you for joining us. Ryan, is this your student?
What is it, Ryan? I don't know. I can't see it. Wait, I lost.
Ryan the panda.
Ryan Ohm.
What?
Where was it? Pull it back up. I am a panda. Yeah, he's probably in the gym. Listen. goodness gracious. He's something else.
I'm a koala. She's a panda. I'm a
Panda.
koala. Okay.
Oh my. Okay, next question. Would you rather find where'd it go? Sorry. Would you rather find a cockroach in your kitchen or a spider in your bed?
A spider.
I'd take a spider in the bed. Yeah, I could do something with the cockroach. Heebies.
I run from cockroaches. I kill spiders.
Oh,
Unless
I don't kill spiders.
Yeah, I hear you. I'm with you.
I do not kill them. My dad said never to kill spiders. I will catch that sucker and I'll put it outside because it gets the mosquitoes. That's all I
Yeah, but
say.
you're also a Disney princess. You talk with animals, like they come and clean her house. Yeah, you should hear the story.
Well,
she makes friends with nature.
From last week, the bunny that I saved, I think, that took the 12-foot dive off of the deck. Oh my gosh!
We rescued a little baby squirrel on a walk not too long ago. It was so fun. We took it to the vet clinic.
Wow, you guys are nice. Yeah. I would not do any of that. I would be like, that's so sad, but it's nature.
Chipmunk. I had a mouse that I was bottle feeding at one point years ago. Okay. Would you rather be able to take back anything you say or hear any conversation that people have about you?
Both. Oh. Yes.
Okay. So this is clearly not would you rather.
First, I'd rather take back something I said. I don't like to know when people speak ill of me. That hurts. I don't like to. It hurts my feelings. It sticks with me too long. And if I hurt someone else's feelings, I'm very, very self-critical for a very long time. I just have a hard time with that. So if I could take it back, I would take it back.
Yeah.
I agree. Like, I feel like if I could have that for every episode we do, there's plenty of things I wish I could take back, but also in real life as a mom. Yes, especially.
Yeah. I don't,
and also just I have a big mouth. I'm pretty sure that's obvious.
Go ahead, Rebecca.
I was just going to say that, those people that tell you, it happened like with the mean girls in high school, the ones that tell you what somebody else said about you. I never wanted to know.
Yes.
Don't tell me.
It's not your business.
I don't want to know.
Read.
Yeah. I don't want to know.
Read.
Yeah. Go ahead, Rachelle. Sorry.
No.
I'm writing a book about that, just saying.
This next question ties in not so much with what you just said, but like a minute before that. So, would you rather have Angelina Jolie's lips or Jennifer Aniston's hair?
Oh, I thought you were going to say boobs, but I would rather have
my eyes. La la la, earmuffs. We're going to take that out in the edits. Edits.
I'll take her hair because I think you can do stuff with lips. You can liners and good lipstick. You can fatten those up, but the hair, she's got pretty nice hair.
She does.
I'm going to take the lips.
You're going to
take the lips.
That's awesome.
Yeah, where are your lips?
I ordered some new ones, just so you know. They're still not here, and I'm so mad. Or either I ordered them for myself or for you. Maybe you have them. Do you have the lips? I can't remember who I ordered them from.
Me? No. I have not gotten them yet. No, I'm good. And just for clarification, Ryan just said that I meant I need a koala because I am a panda, so I'd rather cuddle a koala.
Okay.
Thank you for the clarification, Ryan.
Oh my gosh.
Thanks, Ryan.
Oh man. This one is like, okay. Oh, this is a good one.
We're going to get in trouble.
Would you rather work the job you have now for a year at double your current rate of pay or have a year off with what you're making now?
Do you get the job back?
I'm going to
it's just a year off.
Yeah.
I think I take the year off.
Yeah.
I'm not as fed by the big money as I am, but fed by resetting.
Yeah, in time.
To maybe take a breath. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
That would be my worth.
Okay.
Somebody pay me to take a year off, please.
Yeah, if only, right?
That's called a sabbatical.
Yeah, without the pay. All right, last question. Would you rather have Adele's voice or Pink's
I already do.
voice? Adele or Pink?
I already do.
You have
I
both?
have both of them. Just kidding. I don't really.
Adele? Oh, Adele.
I would rather have Adele.
What's an Adele? Got it. Or a pig?
Or Pink. Yeah.
Oh, Pink. Oh, I like Pink. She's kind of raspy.
I know. Me too. Yeah.
I heard Adele and a pig, and I was very confused. Got it. I still say Pink.
That would still make for a great, would you rather question, because why not? I would go with Pink. I got to see Pink in concert when she came to Pittsburgh. Unbelievable. Like one of the all-time best concerts I've ever seen.
She's great. She's so versatile.
Yes.
She can do a lot.
I've seen her.
I
saw her when she first came out in the early 2000s. I'm pretty sure it wasn't the late 90s. I've seen her.
Yeah.
She is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
She's a great entertainer. Not that Adele isn't. She's also a great entertainer. Right. But Pink is like a show. That would be an experience,
She's glorious. Let's just put it down. She's a glorious woman.
Glorious. And so was Lady Gaga. Lady Gaga was phenomenal 2 years ago.
She'd be amazing. Just amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Ooh. Yes. Oh my gosh. And I just want to go to a concert, and I haven't felt like going to a concert in a long time because I'm an old woman now, and I just feel like being outside with all these people all day long, all these outside concerts.
We're going to go to Dead and Company in Chicago in the fall. We're very excited.
Nice.
Very excited.
Well, this was super fun. We've run over our time. We don't always do that, but I had a blast with you, meeting you, Rebecca. I'm so glad you came today.
We should have a conversation just about educators blogging and social media push out, because I think that's a big topic that a lot of people they just don't even know where to start. I think that's
exactly. So and I've been thinking about blogging just that, actually, to be honest with you. And I put this in the comments, but actually Rachelle and Tim Cavey for Teachers on Fire, it's tomorrow morning, right?
Yeah, 11 a.m. Eastern.
Which is 7 a.m. my time. And I'm going to try to catch it, but I'll at least get the replay. But you're going to be talking about blogging. And I really enjoyed the last time he went on blogging, although he pulled out our blogs and then he actually went live with them. That was a little bit like scary.
I didn't see that coming, but I looked over the ones that we have for tomorrow just to get an idea, because I'm going to be on there looking at them too. So yeah.
But it's also important, I think, to teach people how to look at their metrics. So regardless of what content management system tool they're on, Wix, Weebly, WordPress, whatever it is, that they know how to look at those stats and how to continue and to make sure that they're paying attention to comments and that they're engaging with that. Like, it's not just push it out and go away. There's a responsibility with what you put out there.
I love that. Yes, we need to have a conversation about that. But not today, because we have reached the end of our show. So thank you, everybody, for it was. And we're so glad for all those people, especially Doreen. She stayed up with us. So thank you so much, everybody. We will see you on Monday live. Until then, take care and have a great weekend, everybody.
Yeah.